Hey everyone, it's time to Nephis and chill, and it's been quite a journey, but will be my last 4-man tank build. I'll be updating for a little while, as I've updated every other class tank build, and I'm expecting every build, including this one, to be good for at least a couple patches, unless there's really wild changes coming, and I mean wild. But yeah, hopefully I don't have to make an entirely different video for both this and the other videos. But with that being said, I am bringing back the Thunderstruck build you guys loved a lot last year. And I'm updating it for update 32 and onwards. And if there's any more changes need to be made to the build, or any new ideas that are better than this from my end, obviously you guys can theorycraft and take away ideas rather than just copy it, then I will do it. But yeah, let's start. The Thunderstruck Sorcerer tank build has been brought back, as I said, not just for tanks to use in a simple manner, in terms of sustain and so forth, and healing, but also helpful for the group the build is tanking for in terms of the safety and buffs it provides. Again, I don't recommend taking this build to veteran trials, but, you know, a lot of people keep asking. The recommended races for this build are Imperial, Nord, Breton, and Argonian. For the last showcase we did for the Thunderstruck build, we did Breton. For this one, we're doing Imperial just because. You want to put 14 points into Magicka, 10 points into health, and 40 into stamina. And of course, the attribute allocation will depend on your comfort level and also your race and other setups. Now, the Mundus Stone I recommend is going to be the Atronach. Consumables will be Witchmother's Potent Brew, and Tripods, which is listed as Essence of Health, which gives you health, magicka, and stamina back all at once. Now, in terms of the item sets, it's going to be 2-piece Magma Incarnate. It's a surprisingly decent uptime of Minor Courage and Minor Resolve, allowing you to forego the Yonakrin set while replacing Combat Prayer if a healer is using it, or maybe you don't have a healer for the group. Your primary 5-piece set will be Livewire, as it not only offers beneficial healing receive passives and a solid stat line of max health, but gives you the ability to apply concussion to any hostile target within 8 meters of you every 6 seconds, which not only applies 4 seconds of minor vulnerability to trash pulls or bosses, but allows you to set them off balance guaranteed with a blockade of storms for you and your group members to take advantage of by heavy attacking for even more resources if need be. Livewire also heals you for a flat 1000 health for every target hit by the concussion effect, so this can translate into a lot of fights, healing you instead of damaging as much. Imperium adds even more on top of Livewire's stats with its own healing received and health stats, while also providing you and anyone else within 8 meters of you a damage shield that has a huge absorption value of 11,260 for a total of 6 seconds, which means essentially it could have a cooldown of 6 seconds, assuming the shield isn't immediately taken away within the first second. Imperium is quite a helpful safety net for the entire group, provided that people are playing around you within your 8-meter vicinity, while also letting you forego using Barrier if you want to use a different ultimate instead. The lack of Bloodlord's Embrace has been pointed out in some of my updated builds, including probably this one. And I've been testing it, and honestly, it's more than made up for it by the infused magic recovery chance, and of course repetition in the content. But if you want to try to fit Bloodlord's Embrace in here, you're more than free to. You just have to one-bar one of the 2 5-piece sets we have shown as in the video. In terms of traits, enchantments, and weights, we're going to go with all heavy armor, and this will kind of be elaborated later on in the video. We have pretty much all sturdy. Enchantments will be up to your preference in terms of what stats you want, and of course magic recovery enchantments on all 3 infused pieces of jewelry, and so on. Actually, in terms of skills, I'm going to go over this, and it'll kind of relate back to our choice of weight for the armor setup, and of course other things. So Bound Aegis will be your one of your primary ways to mitigate damage, and you'll cast it in the event you need to block a incoming heavy attack or a special ability from a boss or ad that you're tanking, as it adds a tremendous amount of block mitigation, and this stacks with heavy armor passive. This stacks with your block, your basic block, and of course it stacks with a certain champion point slottable I'll talk about in a bit. Pierce Armor is going to be your main melee taunt to use that provides major and minor breach to provide additional damage for the group. Restraining Prison, the third skill you see on the front bar there, is going to be your main crowd control ability to cast on adds that can be crowd controlled as the skill roots them in place, while giving you major vitality that gives you 16% more healing received, which does stack with your healing done and other healing received modifiers from sources such as item sets, like Livewire, which we talked about already. Dark Deal is your skill to cast if you need to convert your magic into both health and stamina. It is the sorcerer tank's primary method of gaining stamina during sustained intensive fights. It is a channeled ability, so one must be careful when casting it during a flurry of attacks. Twilight Matriarch is going to be on both bars, as you need to have the pet on both bars to have it consistently active, rather than trying to summon it on one bar and then going back to the other bar. It's not only just one of several ways you can heal not yourself, but also other group members. We're going to go with the Matriarch over a Clan Fear, due to the fact that the Matriarch can heal up to 2 targets and not just one or you. Shield Discipline is our to-go-to ultimate to use on the Sword and More bar, as we can't use it on a non-one-hander and shield bar, and it provides us an additional method of sustain by not letting us hold block to gain stamina back in resource-intensive fights. On the back bar, typically you'll have either Hurricane or Boundless Storm. This gives us a major resolve. This is preference, as Boundless Storm gives major expedition and Hurricane gives minor expedition with a bit more damage over time, while also costing magic and stamina respectively. I personally chose Hurricane due to its longer range, wider range of damage, which can be really nice for pulling soft aggro of mobs or hitting things that may not be in my immediate vicinity, unlike Boundless Storm, which needs to be in the immediate range of things for it to hit. This will work in favor, especially with the next skill, Critical Surge, that heals you based on critical damage strikes. More hits means more chances of critical damage happening, which means more healing. Of course, Silver Leash or Inner Fire can be a ranged pull or taunt skill for a wide variety of fights. If you need both, you can probably replace Restraining Prison with either Silver Leash or Inner Fire. Blockade of Storms is primarily there to guarantee the off balance on concussed targets from your live wire. That's pretty much it. Aggressive Horn can be exchanged with whatever form of ultimate, but this is the ultimate one would typically use to buff the group's damage. In terms of the champion points, let's look at this as well. Warfare slottables are pretty typical for maximum mitigation as a tank, with Ironclad, Unassailable, Duelist Rebuff, and Enduring Resolve. Your fitness slottables are also not really special. You just have the typical Boundless Vitality, Fortified and Sustained by Suffering, which gives you sustain, mitigation, and more health. However, the Bracing Anchor here is pretty noteworthy due to its 20% additional block mitigation that stacks with the Heavy Armor passive, your Bound Aegis activation, and your base block that lets you get away unscathed from some of the hardest hitting attacks in the game, including the last boss in Depths of Molitar, which you'll see here on Veteran Mode in the video. But yeah, that's pretty much it. A little sad that this is going to be my last 4-man tank build for a little while, but I am going to be moving on to other builds for soloing vet dungeons, really fun DPS builds that are not just focused on getting the most optimized damage. I want to do healer builds, which will come probably right after the tank build is done here. And yeah, I really do appreciate you guys sticking with me throughout this past year. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of the year and a wonderful 2022 if you're watching this in the year 2021. If you're watching this in 2022, I hope you're going to have a wonderful everything. But yeah, if my videos, guides, or news posts or memes have helped you in any way, definitely do consider liking, subscribing. It does help us a lot in putting out more content and reaching more people. Thank you guys again. Have a wonderful time. Stay safe, have fun, and see you guys next time.
will carry you home. I will carry you home. With you, got nowhere to go.